Hi everyone, my name is Jose Amezquita Morales with the nonprofit The Ring of Democracy. We're a nonprofit that focuses on engaging, educating, organizing, and mobilizing historically marginalized communities. And one way we're doing that this election season is having sit-down conversations with candidates in the greater Sacramento region. And today we have with us Jose Navarro, who's running for Sacramento City Unified School District, Area 3.
That's right.
Yeah. How are you doing, Jose?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for
Excellent.
taking the time to sit down with us. And so, yeah, just to get a little perspective of who we're talking to, can you give us your background, why you're running, all that good stuff?
So Jose Navarro again, and I'm running for Sacramento City Unified School District, Area 3. And I'm running to give back to my community, right? I'm a product of the public education system, and I came as an immigrant from Mexico, and I was also an English learner. And when I first got here, a lot of the family and relatives were like, "Oh man, you're gonna have problems, picking up English. It's gonna be hard for you. You're a little older." And one of the first interactions with the teacher, like he asked me to say a few words in English, so I did, and he's like, "Oh my God, you sound like a native." Granted, he was he was from France and he had a big thick accent, so. But throughout my K through 12 career, I had great teachers, and these teachers were very encouraging, right? So first to kind of help me learn English, and then eventually encourage me to be a lifelong student. And so I was incredibly grateful for the support, and I'm proud to be endorsed by the Sacramento City Teachers Association. And then through this encouragement, it got me to Berkeley. I went to Berkeley as a freshman, where I majored in geophysics. And during that time, education was really important to me. I always say that you can't be a woke Latino unless you care about education, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was there, I mentored middle school and high school students. I then came to the Sacramento Valley. I mean, I'm from Chico, so I just came back to the Sacramento Valley. And I went to Sac State, and I did computer science there. Now I work as a systems software programmer for the state of California. And I'm a problem solver. That's what I do every day. And so that's how I want to give back. I want to use my skills and my knowledge to be able to help at Sac State Unified right now, or I think it was in the headlines that there was 300 students that couldn't be enrolled because of technical issues. So they told them to stay home. I think it's been like 2 weeks. I don't know if they've taken care of that already. There's also issues with payroll all the time. Classified staff and teachers are having problems getting paid, and it stresses them out, right? Mm-hmm. And then not to mention all the chaotic things that are going on with special education. So like I said, I'm a problem solver. Some of these are IT, but I can also use my skills in real life situations, right? So the main thing that you do to troubleshoot is you find the root cause, and then you take the steps to solve them. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to use my knowledge and my skills to help out in all the things that we need help in the district right now. So I'm hoping I can count on your support.
Yeah, I love that concept of problem solving. That's one thing that school boards do. They got to be hands-on, they got to be involved. But also we see that parents want to be more involved. They want to know what's going on. How do you plan on boosting that participation between the community and the school board?
Yeah, so one of my priorities is collaboration, right? So, and that means with the staff, because there was a bunch of problems. We can't really go back to that. There was a bunch of fighting with the labor partners and the administration, and that caused really to lose focus on what we're actually focused on what we need to do, which was actually the students, right? To make sure the students get the best education. So we moved on from that. And one of the things that I'm excited about is to implement community schools. So none of the schools listed for that are in my district, but I still want to work with other board members in the schools. And that's one of the things that I want to do. I want to encourage parent involvement, right? So through that, and also home and teacher visits. I already talked to the coordinator. Her name's Gretchen. I don't know if I can see her name, but anyways, basically, but I have to wait until I'm elected to be able to access that. But yeah, through that, I want to encourage parents. Especially Latinos. Obviously all parents, but especially Latinos. I can speak Spanish. I can communicate. I can relate, and I know that worked for me as a kid, right? I cared about education because my parents cared about education. So even though they worked long hours, whenever there was a function at school, they would always come. So I wanna make sure that parents understand that. that, you know, if they want their kids to be successful in school, they need to come to the school. They need to talk to the teachers. But the model of community schools actually is that, right? We're going to foster those connections. We're going to foster the connections between the community members or community organizations. They can be nonprofits that can be involved, right? Parents, teachers, staff, the kids, and fostering those connections also is supposed to be a good way to kind of close the equity gaps. So that's kind of how. But more so than that, just like, you know, in terms of parent involvement, to get the kids, the parents interested in the kids' education, right? That's kind of the first objective. But also to demand more services, maybe more funding, right? So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
I appreciate that. And one key thing that is always a major factor is like the funding, like you said. Like, how do you plan on getting more funding for a lot of these programs that are desperately needed by the community at the schools, but aren't necessarily prioritized when it comes to allocation?
So actually, the budget's actually pretty healthy. So the last the unaudited actuals were released because I think there's a new not that I think, but there's a new fiscal year coming. So the unaudited actuals have already been released. There was a budget of like $850 million, and there was a surplus of about $40 million, and there was $257 million in reserves. So there is money. So there's about $300 million sitting in like in a fund that haven't been spent. Now some of that is restricted money, so about $175 million is available to be spent on whatever, and then there's $125 million that is restricted. I'm not really sure what those restrictions are, but it's probably allocated to be spent on certain things. I know special education gets funding that way. So there is money, but I mean, I have to look too, because I think that there is a plan to hire a lot of staff. So I know that there were, I think, like 250 teachers that were just hired. I'm not sure on the classified staff, but I know that there is staff needed still. So I don't know how that'll affect the numbers, or if that is part of the projected budget. And I haven't looked at that necessarily yet. But it's about 750 for what I have seen. I haven't looked at it in detail, but I have seen the numbers. So it's roughly that amount. So there is money. We just have to look about how to spend it and spend it correctly.
Yeah, I know. It's always big decisions with money. Like, all this money is there and you want to do so many things with it. So yeah, hopefully we get to see what that money goes towards. But also, just one thing I've always been curious about, like, we always see that school is prioritized, and yes, like, go to college, do all that stuff, but I know there's also growing like need for trades, bringing trades and incorporating them into the schools. Like, how do you plan on doing that if elected on the board?
So one of the things that I've been actually meeting with some of the trade unions, and I got the endorsement from the laborers, and one of the things that I told them is that I actually have listened to them in the Central Labor Academy twice now. So there was this most recently was a person from the sheet metal, or actually SMART. There's a few. There's do HVAC. They do rail. And then I think there's a few others. I can't think of it right now, but they actually mentioned the apprenticeships, right? And actually all the trades have an apprenticeships. And actually I have a nephew that's interested in the electrician apprenticeships. But yeah, they're basically, it's almost like a learning academy type of thing. They go for 5 years and they get paid while they do it. So one of the things that actually does worry me a little bit, though, is that they all have entrance exams to be eligible, and one of the requirements is usually math. And I was looking at the sample test from one of the trades, and there's some algebra, so I can do it. But I remember when I was in school, a lot of my peers had a lot of problems with algebra questions and algebra in general. So we still have to do our work to make sure that our students are eligible. And you know, everyone, like all the trades and all the personnel that I talk to them, they're like, oh, we'll work with them, right? We'll make sure we get them ready. And they do, and I want to work with them on that. So in the Rosemont High, we have the Engineering, Construction, and Design Academy. So it's a great CTE, right? What is it called? Actually, I can't think of a CTE right now, but it's related to technical education, right? And so it's a great program at Rosemont High. And so I want to work with the trades, and they've all said, yeah, they're interested, and we're hoping to, you know, I said I still think that if kids want to go to college, then it's an acceptable thing to do because I did that. It worked for me. But yeah, I do believe in giving them more options to the parents and to the kids. Right? There is a return on investment type of idea that it might be worth looking into because there is going to be a lot of opportunities. Our boomers are starting to retire, and I also talk about actually like going into the state. What I do in the state, I do IT in the state of California. A lot of the kids are in the dual enrollment program, so they're taking computer science classes now. So they might be eligible by the time they graduate if they take the right amount of units. They can jump straight into the IT series, for example, at the state of California. I'm pretty sure the city and the county have something similar. There's also, HP and Intel, which is, they're right up the hill, and they're great in the industry. They're the leaders in the industry, and in information systems. So that's another route. And so I do believe in giving the students more options. So the college route I think is still valuable. There's a lot of value in that. But I know that families are interested in other options. So I believe in that, giving them that option.
Well, yeah, I appreciate all those great ideas. And now if you want to speak directly to the voters, make sure they know why they should vote for you.
Okay. So like I mentioned, I want to get back to the community, so that's why I'm running. And I want to make sure that everyone knows that I'll be trusteed, right? And I know that I believe in making sure that we take care of all of our resources, right? So I'll be trusteed with the kids, right? So the key part in all this, I'll be trusteed with the buildings. There's also a measure that will be coming in the ballot. Make sure you support it, Measure D. And that is to modernize and to construct and remodel our facilities. I'm also be a trustee with the budget. And then the other part is that I'll be trustee with the staff. They're an incredible resource. We can't do anything without our staff. So I want to make sure that that we take care of all the resources in the district. And thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. And thank you to the viewers. Thank you for watching us and watching all these candidate interviews. Please check out all of them. We have amazing people that have sat down across the table from us. So please make sure to check them out on our page. Thank you so much.